What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Don't Get Cancer, where cancer is a bumper sticker or a hashtag, and we bring each other together through pain and loss. So today's topic is gonna be a tough one. Hospice or home? That is the decision. So this is going to be later down the line, and it's one that I think most people have to cross unless, something just unexpectedly happens. But for my pops, it was the beginning of August, and he got sent to the hospital. And basically, at that point, I knew, because he died August 22nd. So about beginning of August, going to the hospital, it'd been like 9 months at this point, battling it. I'm like, yeah, this is the end chapter right here for sure. And obviously visiting him in the hospital and just that chapter unfolding, you start to see it. There's some, I don't even want to say like some days, like some hours are better than others. And it's just a big, like, you're all right, boom, 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 boom. All right, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's just going down like that. And once pretty much it was kind of like, hey, this isn't gonna turn around. You got a decision to make. Can't stay in the hospital. You either go home and die, or you go to the and die. A lot goes into this decision, right? And it's tough. I think that him and my mom had a discussion about it, and when you're trying to give your opinion to somebody who's about to die, it's tough. And I remember trying to put myself into my pops' shoes at that moment. And it was like one of the scariest things I've ever done. We think about, as humans, we think about death. I think most of us do. Our own demise, what's gonna happen to us, how are we gonna go? And I've always thought like, do I want to know what I like? Blah, blah, blah. The age old question. But as I'm sitting there trying to like put myself in my pops' shoes, like, damn, you're at the end of the road. Like, you're at the absolute end of the road. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it in your mind. You gotta choose where you wanna go die. There's no running. There's really no fighting left. You can throw your biggest haymaker. You can try to run. I mean, really at that point you can't. You're just stuck. And that was like just the craziest, scariest thought in my head of, wow. The sand in the hourglass is, you just see that it has a few specks left. So at first, my pops he was like, yo, I wanna, at home. And deep down, I didn't make the right choice. I don't think my mom or my brother thought it was the right choice. So we kind of sat on it for a little bit. And then he sat on it a little bit, and the doctors were talking to him, and over the next days, again, this is like mid-August at this point, last year, 2022. And the deal was, because he's a veteran, once a Marine, always a Marine. If he was gonna do at home, he was going to get covered a nurse that could show up 3 times a week, 2 hours a day. That's not that much if you haven't seen the end stages of cancer, that's not much at all. I can't give you a quote on what a 24/7 nurse would be to be in your house, but I'm sure it's a lot. If you can afford that, I mean, that's probably not a bad route to go. You know, you want the person that's dying to be comfortable as possible. What's more comfortable than your house? But having had conversations with the doctors and such, you know, him and my mom having conversations, it was the choice was made to go to hospice. And fortunately for us, again, the VA covered that. Like I talked about in the funeral episode, that's one of those things where you can spend a lot of money, you can spend a little money, and mileage may vary. You know, not one of those things I would say you want to cheap out on, because it could be quite a miserable last few days of existence for your person, and then just absolute terrible trauma for you having to go through a bad experience with a cheap place. So I would suggest forking over a few extra dollars if you're gonna go the hospice route to have a good staff, have a good place. Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot, there's so much that care and just pain those last days. I mean, even leading up to it, like when he was at the hospital, it's like, dude, at any given moment, you need like treatment. You really want to risk like having to wait every other day, only 2 hours? Nah, that's crazy. So when you're at hospice, a good one at least, they're there to take care of you, and that's their job. And I think when you go to a halfway decent one, that people, there's some, their energy, their heart, that they want to, it's not about the money for them, they want to be there and help everybody involved. So yeah, my pops goes to hospice. At this point, they said, 2 to 4 weeks. In my head, I was like, nah, it's gonna be nowhere near 4 weeks. It's like 2 weeks tops. Yeah, so he went there. I think it was like, we let him get settled in. The next day, and my mom pretty much was there 24/7 with him. But yeah, once he was all settled in, the next day, me, and my brother E, we went over. man, it was just what a day. It was the afternoon, and yeah, my pops gifted my brother E a watch, and yeah, that after E was just like, man, that meant so much to me, like you'll never understand. And it was just watching, being there, and seeing that the transition of giving away like worldly possessions. Not that it was a like super valuable watch, but just giving away your worldly possessions that have meaning to you to transfer to someone else. Man, I could feel like the energy just escaping. I could feel it leaving him. I could feel it leaving the room, and just trying to hold it all and together. Not cry in front of my biological brother or non-biological brother. And yeah, just a crazy moment in time. It just feels like surreal. It doesn't, I know it's so cliche. Oh, it feels surreal. It doesn't. Oh man, especially with my pops being, this tough Marine, was the disciplined one, and just seeing it in this state. After that day, things were crashing pretty hard. People, certain people were trying to come visit. He didn't really have energy to see too many people. Yeah, he wasn't even there about a week. And they said 2 to 4 weeks, and I knew it wasn't gonna be 4 weeks. I was working an overnight on a Friday, and because he died on a Monday, so I was working. It was a Friday night, obviously August, summertime, and I work right on the water. So when I work that Friday overnight shift, I'll try to, especially with all this happening, I appreciate the little moments. So I'll go right out almost to the dock and just watch the sun come up like cotton candy colors, and it's just beautiful, and I take that all in. But something about that sunrise, I knew in my head, I was like, this is the last Friday night into Saturday morning sunrise that I'll ever see with my pops breathing on this earth. Like, I just knew it. And my mom was saying the same thing, like, we could, it doesn't take a genius to tell like things, but to really feel it's different, so seen him that Saturday. Wasn't great. Me and my brother and one of my friends, we had plans to go to like water country on Sunday. We went trying to ignore and numb out the obvious. On the way home from water country, my mom's calling crying like, hey, you gotta come stop in. This isn't going good. So show up. I think they had already like started the morphine, which is never good. Once they start the morphine, it's over, man. And show up, and he was just like just smacked out of it. He's like, or my mom's trying to, shake his hand awake. And he like pops awake, and he's like, oh, Who's here? What time is it? And it was like, I don't know, 4:35 in the afternoon. Like, no. Then I kind of snapped into it, and yeah, he was conscious, and me and my brother had a little chat, said our love yous, goodbyes, whatnot. So you could just kind of tell like how much just energy did this being have left. And yeah, that hit me like a ton of bricks. We leave there. I had my buddy pull up to the booth, cop my normal New Amsterdam. I don't even know why I got a bottle of Hypnotic, but something about that bottle of Hypnotic, man, I used to drink it like just like a weird subconscious throwback to the early days of drinking, the 08, 09, 2010 era, and drank it to my face and kept the bottle. Is like now a weird super sentimental item to me. It's like on my shrine actually. But yeah, Monday came around and just real unconscious. It was he wasn't barely able to. Yeah, he wasn't with it on Monday. It was like my mom's brother were there most of the day. Me and my brother showed up later in the afternoon, hanging out for a while, and yeah, it wasn't good. I do have regrets of, my mom kept being like, oh, like hold his hand, like talk to him, and like just me being like this stupid, like just throw everything, numb everything out, feelings. I was like, I don't know about that. Like that's, ugh. But then I read like a study that, people that are in that phase may be able to hear and feel. So that made me feel terrible. That I wasn't saying or like holding his hand during those last few hours. But yeah, it was like Monday evening. They were like, all right, we're gonna come back. We're gonna, go get some food. I was gonna go have a drink. We'll be back 9 o'clock, like 2 hours. Went out. Yeah, I don't know, maybe like an hour later, just the second again, my phone just felt ringing in my pocket. I was like, damn, this is it. And my uncle, my mom's brother, he's a doctor, anesthesiologist. He was, again, like I said, he was there. We get there, we leave where we're at, fly over back to the hospice. And yeah, an image that's burned into my head, walking through the door, and there's my pops dead. Cliche, very surreal. And I just, went through just absolutely breaking down, to being all right, to breaking down. And I don't know, I think the hospice people might have thought we were weird. Like we hung out in there for an hour or two, like after he'd passed, and they bring them out, clean them up once they've died, like bring them back. And yeah, and it was cool having my uncle there. Like I'm weird in the sense of he was kind of breaking it down like for me on like his last breath and how it happened. And something about that like kind of helped ease my pain a little bit. And yeah, man, like a stupid little kid, I thought, yo, if I just hold open his eyes, he'll be all right. He'll come back. Yeah. Your brain gets weird during that type of trauma. Yeah, that's hospice versus home. And like I said, you can to sum it up, that's a tough battle that you gotta choose, hospice or home. The comfort, the care levels, how bad off the person is, I can't answer that for you, but that's just something to take into account, because you don't want your person waking up excruciating pain 3 a.m. and the nurse can't get there until, I don't know, 12 hours. That's a bad way to go. But also picking the right hospice. Ours was right off Route 1 in Scarborough. Great people. They were really cool. They helped things immense. Very caring. Yeah. So, yeah. What you gotta, it ain't easy. It's gonna be a tough one to figure out. But that's me shedding some light on that subject for you people. And if you've made it this far, once again, thank you from the heart. Until next time, people.
What might happen to you or to me?